2001 A Space Odyssey, Arthur C. Clarke. As old age, it seems more like an hour. Floyd became acutely aware of the gigantic forces coiled up around him, waiting to be released. In the fuel tanks of the two spacecraft and in the power storage system of the launching track was pent up the energy of a nuclear bomb, and it would all be used to take him a mere 200 miles from us. There was none of old-fashioned 5-4-3-2-1-0 business so tough on the human nervous system. Launching in 15 seconds, you will be more comfortable if you start breathing deeply. There was good psychology and good physiology. Floyd felt himself well charged with oxygen and ready to tackle anything. And the launching track began to sling its 1,000-ton payload out over the Atlantic. It was hard to tell when they leaped from the track and became airborne, but when the roar of the rocket suddenly doubled its fury and Floyd found himself sinking deeper and deeper into the cushions of his seat, he knew that the first stage engine had taken over. He wished he could look out of the window, but it was the effort even to turn his head. There was no discomfort. Indeed, the flash of acceleration and the overwhelming thunder of the motors produced extraordinary euphoria. His ears ringing, the blood pounding in his veins, Floyd felt more alive than he had for years. He was young again. He wanted to sing aloud, which was certainly safe, for no one could possibly hear him. The mood passed swiftly, and he suddenly realized that he was leaving Earth and everything he had ever loved. Down there were his 3 children, motherless since his wife had taken that fatal flight to Europe 10 years ago. 10 years? Impossible. Impossible, and it was so. Perhaps, for their sake, he should have remarried. He had almost lost the sense of time when the pressure of the noise abruptly slackened, and the cabin speaker announced, "Preparing to separate from royal stage. Here we go." There was a slight jolt, and suddenly Floyd recalled a quotation of Leonardo da Vinci, which he had once seen deployed in NASA office. "The great bird will take its flight on the back of the great bird, bringing glory to the nest where it was born." Well, the great bird was flying now beyond the world dreams of Da Vinci, and his exhausted companion was winging back to us. In a 10,000 miles arc, the empty royal stage would glide down into the atmosphere, trading speed for distance as it homed on Kennedy. In a few hours, serviced and refueled, it would be ready again to lift another companion toward the shining silence which it could never reach. "Now," thought Floyd, "we are on our own, more than halfway to orbit." When the acceleration came on again, as the upper stage rocket fired, the thrust was much more gentle. Indeed, he felt no more than normal gravity, that it would have been impossible to walk, since up was straight toward in front of the cabin. If he had been foolish enough to leave his seat, he would have crashed at once against the rear wall. The effect was a little disconcerting, for it seemed that the thief was standing on its tail. To Floyd, who was at the very front of the cabin, all the seats appeared to be fixed on a wall dropping vertically beneath him. He was doing his best to ignore this uncomfortable illusion and dawn exploded outside the ship. In seconds, they shot through veils of crimson and pink and gold and blue into the piercing white of day. Through the window were heavily tinted to reduce the glare. The probing beam of sunlight that now slowly swept across the cabin left Floyd half blinded for several minutes. He was in space, yet there was no question of being able to see the stars. He sealed his eye with his hand and tried to peer through the window beside him. Out there, the swift back wing of the ship was blazing like white hot metal in the reflected sunlight. There was utter darkness all around it, and the darkness must be full of stars, but it was impossible to see them. Weight was slowly waving. The rocket was being throttled back as the ship usually itself into orbit. The thunder of the engine dropped to a muted roar, then a gentle hiss, then died into silence. If it had not been for the restraining strap, Floyd would have floated out of his seat. His stomach felt as if it was going to do so anyway. He hoped that the pill he had been given half an hour, then 10,000 miles ago would perform as per specification. He had been space-sick just once in his career, and that was much too often. The pilot's voice was firm and confident as it came over the cabin speaker. Please observe all 0G regulation. You will be docking Space Station 1 45 minutes. The stewardess came walking up the narrow corridor to the right of the closely spaced seat. There was a slight buoyancy about her step, and her feet came away from the floor reluctantly as if entangled in glue. She was keeping to the bright yellow brand of Velcro carpeting the length of full lengths of the floor and was the ceiling. The carpet and the sole of her sandal were covered with myriad of tiny hooks so that they clung together like birds. This trick of walking in free fall was immensely reassuring to disoriented passengers. Would you like some coffee or tea, Dr. Floyd? She asked cheerfully. No, thank you. He smiled. He always felt like a baby when he had to suck at one of those plastic drinking tubes. The stewardess was still hovering anxiously around him as he popped open his briefcase and prepared to remove his papers. Dr. Floyd, may I ask you a question? Certainly, he answered, looking up over his glass. My fiancée is George L. Calvius, said Miss Simmons, measuring her words carefully, and I haven't heard from him for over a week. I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe he's away from his base and out of touch. She shook her head. He always tell me when that's going to happen, and you can imagine how worried I am. With all these rumors, is it really true about an epidemic on the moon? If it is, there is no cause for alarm. Remember, there was a quarantine back in 98 over that mutated flu virus. A lot of people were sick, but no one died. And that's really all I can say, he concluded firmly. Miss Simmons smiled pleasantly and ended up. Well, thank you anyway, doctor. I'm sorry to have bothered you. No bother at all, he said gallantly, but not very accurately. Then he buried himself in his endless technical reports in a desperate last-minute assault on a unusual backlog. He would have no time to reading when he got to the moon.